It's a beautiful day at the off-grid project. Not. For solar, it's not such a happy day. It is good, though, for washing my fiberglass tanks. I will go out there. All I have to do is literally take a rag out and wipe them. When I was in the Army, it was really pouring rain really hard, and we had our wet weather gear on, rain gear in English terms, and we were standing outside anyway, and we were outside the parking lot of the barracks, and my car was right there, so I would open the trunk, grabbed a rag, and washed my car, literally. I mean, it was pouring hard rain. Washed my car right there, standing in the rain. There's a term in the military called hurry up and wait. They have you hurry and get in formation and then stand around and wait half the day. And it was one of those days. And this reminds me of that. I think I will go out. I'm going to get my rain gear today, and I will continue doing some work. Probably out there. Unfortunately, the chickens did not eat their breakfast, and it is being destroyed. Quite frustrating. Yesterday was the same story. I don't know what they're living on, but there's their food rotting in the rain. Last night they didn't eat their food either. So I'm a little bit worried about them that they're not eating right now. It's not cold out. It's been in the 40s, high 30s, low 40s. Last night never got below, I think, 40 degrees, maybe high 30s. I don't know what's up with the birds, but they're not out of the rain. They're outside, so I don't know why they're not eating. Concerns me, because these are eating machines, these birds. Eating machines. They eat and eat and eat and eat and eat. In the last 2 days, they haven't been eating. They look fine, but I'm really worried. I don't know what's wrong. Again, it's been warmer out, so I can't imagine what's wrong with them. They've been through a lot worse than this. So, and I check on them like multiple times a day. They got plenty of water. I water them 3 times a day when it's frozen, but their automatic watering tank is working fine right now. Yeah, so I'm going to go and wash my fiberglass tanks and find somewhere to put them to drip dry so I can bring them up into the tiny house on wheels. And my paycheck is going to hit my account soon, and then I will be getting the hardware and the plumbing for my water system in the tiny house. That's exciting. And I will be getting the wind turbine towers up in the air and put the wind turbines up, get them running. So exciting things coming in the next few days here. Rain or no rain, I got to get that wind turbine tower put together. It's very dark in the tiny house. Well, the camera amplifies the light. Funny enough, it is darker than it looks on camera. Isn't that funny? I have my Harbor Freight generator running and the battery charger on because there is no power in the tiny house. Now, this is quite frustrating. I have been running the little Harbor Freight generator morning and evening now, and my batteries, by the time I get up in the morning, have been down to 11.9. These golf cart batteries, the newer ones, they are, instead of getting better, although I'm charging them regularly, and I have had the battery charger on automatic mode thinking it's better, but today I put it on full 20 amp charge because the automatic mode seems to be too gentle and it's not really topping off the batteries. So they are sulfated off the shelf. They were not good from the store, and that's something I've got to deal with right off the top. That voltage on the charger is 0.2 volts lower than the voltage that shows on the charge controller. Sorry about the focus there. And the charge controller is showing 12.6 volts right now. But I'm really annoyed that there's no... they're not topping off, although I've been running the generator and the battery charger every morning and every evening. And right now there's no drain. The only drain is the netbook is on, the little blue blinking lights right there, and the internet is on. And the netbook is an Atom processor, so it barely takes anything. So I'm concerned now. I think maybe my batteries know that their time is limited. They know that the forklift batteries are on the way, and they're sort of give me some struggles. But yeah, I'm gonna still, once I get the forklift batteries and get them hooked up, I will desulfate those new golf cart batteries, which badly need it, and then I'll use them in the RV as the RV will be a electronics workshop and lab. So the old RV I am going to use and put to good use for doing my electronics. The Bedini motor will go out there, and I'll do all my experiments and hobbies and projects out there with electronics. There's a lot of exciting things coming up. The Bedini motor I want to build, I'll be doing that out there in the RV. I will keep it clean and maintain it because I did fully renovate the inside of that RV, and I'm going to keep it clean. Whether I sell it or keep it next year, I don't know, but there's no point in ruining it. That's why a lot of people have suggested putting wood in there, which generally would be a good idea if if it was just a filthy old RV like it was when I got it. But right now I'm trying to even keep the mice out and keep it clean and take care of it. Well, working on the videos right now. Got the my laptop is running on its own battery, and I'm going to use it until it's empty, and then I'll get working outside. Oh, there the chickens are eating some. I don't know, but they're just not eating their food today. It's last 2 days. Concerns me. I'll keep an eye on them. Good afternoon. It's only, I think, 4:30. It's getting pretty dark. I just cut a bunch of pallet wood because it has been raining for days, and I pretty much burnt through all the stock that I had cut. But these were out in my carport. This was old scrap pieces of pallet wood, which is dry, and I just brought that in. It's sort of a pity to be burning such beautiful wood. Some of that is really nice. Some of it is oak, and some of it is really, really good, beautiful wood. But, I've got a lot of wood, so you just gotta shut down your feelings and your love for the wood and burn the stuff. That's BTUs right there. Maybe Cat's enjoying the smells. Well, it's gonna be dark early tonight. Oops, let me grab my shoes. The rain has let down enough that I can come outside a little bit here. It's still sprinkling, but it shouldn't hurt the camera. Well, I haven't really been outside much except for to care for the birds and get my firewood, and I had my neighbor over, well, ex-neighbor now, he moved out. The guy who used to help me out with and bring me scrap metal and junk, and we traded back and forth. He was here. We were looking at my forklift battery and analyzing the situation, how to get the battery out of the bed of the truck safely. He said that it's too wet and slippery and it would be too dangerous today to mess with it. He said he'll come back tomorrow. I can probably do it myself, but it's always safer to have somebody else around when you're working with a 2,000-pound object. That much mass in that small of a space. The birds are worrying me. They didn't eat their food again. It really disturbs me. I don't know what's going on. Nothing has ever stopped them from eating in any weather and begging for food and more. And now they're eating, I don't know, maybe 3 times a day is more than they need. Maybe it's just because I was always feeding them twice a day and there was nothing left over. Now I'm feeding them 3 times a day, and you can see that's from yesterday, and there's a blotch from the day before, and there's from today. Maybe that's too much. Maybe I should back off a little bit more. Just feed them back down to twice a day. I don't know. Now there, I am truly confused and truly concerned. But they're alive, they're healthy, they're energetic, they're in bed already. It's early. It's still 40 degrees out. But it was just rained and rained and rained and rained and rained all day. No quantity because my 275-gallon tote didn't really fill up. It's near to the top. I'm only 50 gallons low. 20 gallons low. So I might have got 10 gallons today. So it rained all day, but just no capacity, no quantity. Well, I've got this battery here. By the way, I did not take apart these. I decided based on advice, I did not take these apart. I'm going to see if I can use these as a porch. So thank you guys for the advice and suggestions. I stopped cutting right then and there, and yeah, that's going to be sides for the porch and probably a roof as well. They're massive. So put some of them on, one of them up on the top. I'll need help because they are really, really, really heavy. So I'll have to fashion myself sort of a porch. That's what those are going to be then. My forklift battery sits here. All is quiet. The generator is off for now, and the battery is resting. Now I found out these are roughly 680 amp hour battery banks. So there are 3 680 amp hour battery banks in these. So basically each cell, each 2-volt cell has a 2-volt and 680 amp hour capacity. They are 23 inches high by, I don't know what the measurements are, looks like maybe 4 inches square, something like that. 4 or 5 inches square by 23 inches high, which is an average cell size. I was looking for numbers on the casing. There is no identifying numbers, and I was looking at websites that deal with forklift batteries, and basically they say measure the physical size of the compartment where the battery slides in and go with the battery bank voltage and the largest physical size that'll fit and buy it. That's how you replace your forklift battery secondhand. So I found that interesting. Well, anyway, this is at rest. The one battery bank was at 12.36 this morning. The first bank that I had charged yesterday. The second bank was at 12.5 something this morning after resting all night. So they're obviously not topped off. But again, these have been sitting around neglected for a while. They've obviously had that dead cell for a while, and they've had some issues for a while. So I don't expect it to be brought back to full service life overnight. I will probably have to add some acid to them, I'm figuring, to be able to, because once the water keeps boiling off and you keep adding distilled water and acid is boiling out with that water, eventually you're going to have more water than acid, so you're going to have a shortage of acid in there with time. So I think I'm going to have to raise the bed a little bit. It's flooding because sort of on a downward hill. I might just raise the bed a little to clean it out, because anything that's washing off that battery bank is now sitting in the bed of my truck, which is not cool. Any acid and any filth. And I'm hoping the rainwater will help get down inside between those batteries and help wash that out and help loosen them up so I can try to slide one out of there. Actually, I might try that in a minute here. I'm probably going to put down the camera and see if I can slip one of them out of there now that it's rained and lubed everything up for me. If not, I'm not quite sure. I'm talking to friends and getting doing some studies online how best to remove this without damage. But I've got my ideas. But tomorrow hopefully the ground will firm up and we can get this off here. So we'll see. But that's it. The day is coming to a close unless I do some projects inside other than video work. Did a lot of video work today. Editing, catching up on comments, and I have a surplus of videos again because it was a busy week, so I'm trying to catch up and get everything out to you guys before the holidays. So hopefully I'll make that happen now. Well, it's peaceful out here. I'm just standing here enjoying the quiet for a few minutes. I'll see you guys later. Well, I just fired up the little Harbor Freight generator. Now my golf cart batteries right out of the store have not been performing at all. So I literally run my little Harbor Freight generator anytime I do any computer work. I just refilled the tank and fired it up. The golf cart batteries have no capacity. These are the brand new ones, the replacement ones I got for guarantee, although they didn't have to give me any guarantee, so that's why I'm not really fighting with them. I'm hoping that when I get the new forklift batteries, not this one, I'll explain in a minute, hoping when I get the new forklift batteries that I will be able to use the Bedini motor on the new sulfated new golf cart batteries, and then finish restoring the older group, which are in worse shape. But that's a project for after I get the big bank of forklift batteries. Now I just want to clarify, there's going to be some confusion, I'm sure. This is not the forklift battery that TechMan helped me get. This is an experimental battery. This is something completely separate and different. I just want to explain, this is not the one. This is not the one that somebody helped me pick up. I got this as junk off a Craigslist deal. This was scrap, and I am using it for an experiment. It has nothing to do with the forklift battery that I will use to power the tiny house on wheels. That battery that I will be getting is a reconditioned 12 volt 680 amp hour battery bank, which has a 1-year guarantee. And this one I got for scrap. This was literally junk, and I got it for experimentation to see about restoring forklift batteries for use in off-grid solar applications, and experimenting with adding more acid and desulfating the cells, taking out dead shorted cells, and learning a lot about things that I've studied. And so this is an experiment. I do believe it's going to be a successful experiment to some level of degree, to some extent. But anyway, I just hope that's clear. So I do have a forklift battery I am going to get that is in good shape, that is going to be powering the tiny house on wheels. And this, of course, is just going to be bonus material if I manage to restore those cells. So, well, I'm going to go back in and turn on the battery charger inside the tiny house, get those golf cart batteries, massage them with some power while I work on some more videos. Trying to get them all caught up before the Christmas holiday season starts here. So, see you all later. I just started the battery charger. The batteries were back down to 12.1 volts again. After running, literally I've had the generator and the battery charger on since from 9 o'clock until 3:30 when it went out. It's from 9 o'clock in the morning till 3:30 in the afternoon I've been charging these batteries. And I let it rest for an hour, roughly an hour, and the batteries were down to 12.1 again. The only load is the netbook and the modem. It's the only load that was on these batteries, and they were back down to 12.1 volts. So it's they need some help. They need some doctoring, but I'll be getting that going. I'll take care of them once I get the new forklift battery in place. Then I can throw these on that Bedini motor and restore them. That'll be good. That forklift battery is going to be a huge, huge blessing once I get that going on this house. Hi, this is Troy from the Do-It-Yourself world and the Off-Grid Project, sitting inside my tiny home underneath the countertops where I have my battery bank, Bedini motor, dead sulfated batteries to be restored, and my fuses. Now, there's a lot of discussion online about the safety of my wires, and that I messed up on the fuses, and that I'm going to have a fire and dangerous explosion and death. Okay, I do admit, if the water line, which is a thick PVC pipe, ever blew out, then yes, water would drip into the inverter, so I guess I'll have to move that eventually. That is a good point. But all my other wires are essentially closed, sealed wires. If water ever got on that, I don't think anything could happen. My connections are above it, way above it, and safe. And underneath the pipe, it doesn't look like it, you can't really tell, but if water dripped from that pipe, it would fall in between the battery and the wall. So there's no danger there. I do not feel uncomfortable at all with this setup, except for the inverter, which is temporary and will be mounted on the wall over here later. And it's going to have its own hole drilled through the wall for its own wiring. That will be changed. Now, fuses. I realize that the fuse block that I have here, sorry, I'm trying to adjust the flashlight so you can actually see what I'm doing and talking about this time. The fuse block has 80 amp fuses. Too big. The wire going from the battery, the main hot wire coming from the battery into the fuse box, is a 6 gauge wire. That is rated for about 73 amps. So I'm going to change those fuses in that fuse block with 60 amp fuses. So that should be then safe that way. The wires coming up out the top of that fuse block are also 6 gauge wires rated at 73 amps. Now, this fuse block, if you notice, is where I'm going to have everything tied in. So I've got the main hot wire coming from the battery, 6 gauge wire, 73 amps capacity, going through it's going to be a 60 amp fuse, then into a fuse block, which right now the white wire coming off and going to the cigarette lighter plug, which is going to be mounted later, is fused with a 15 amp fuse, which is the rated capacity of that cigarette lighter plug. And these are 12 gauge wires going into it, so there's plenty enough current handling capability in the wire, and the fuse will blow if anything, if I pulled too much current for that, or if there was a short. So I do believe that's absolutely safe. And then each and everything coming off into the kitchen, the lighting and everything else, is going to be fused off of that, except for the one that already is, which is going to be fused upstairs, because I tapped that light in upstairs up in the loft, where there will be a separate fuse block. The wire going into the living room goes across through the entire tiny house through the upstairs. We'll have separate fuses at each junction point. So that will also have then the 80 amp fuse will be swapped with a 60, and then that will be separately fused at every single junction point. So hopefully that explains things a lot better, and I do feel very comfortable and safe with this setup. And I've read a lot of comments about this and really thought about it a lot. I do realize those 80 amp fuses are too big. I will replace them. So I'll be looking online for this company and finding 60 amp fuses, and I'm actually going to look for 4 of them and fill that entire thing so I can actually use all of the blocks in there. Might as well. I have it. So I hope that clears it up, and I hope you're more comfortable with the safety of my system here. Again, if the plumbing ever blew out, I've got jumper cables outside wiring everything up. These are jumper cables, and these are actually, I've used these wires outdoors. These are exterior heavy duty wires. I've had them outdoors before, this type of wire, with no problems. And actually the same size and type wire was in the camper underneath the frame, just tacked on outside the camper frame, exposed to the elements. This is extremely heavy duty wire that's got the insulation on it, plus plastic wrap. There's a weird plastic coating. Actually, you can see it here where it's bent. There's this weird plastic coating on top of the insulation, so it's seriously well protected from the elements. and it's almost a clear looking plastic film when you cut it. So I think it should be fine. I do have some DC circuit breakers that I'm probably going to put in the system somewhere as well. I got them on mega discount once, and I'll probably integrate them somewhere along the lines. So just wanted to explain that. My batteries are holding at 12.6 volts, and they're not really increasing or anything, although I've had this on all day. And I had it on automatic in the morning and it wasn't working for me, so I put it on 20 amps continuous in the afternoon evening period. So hopefully I can top off these golf cart batteries and keep them from being harmed. Now, I've seen comments about how I am ruining my batteries. Well, I'm not. These were sulfated from the store. They were not holding a charge properly the day I brought them home. If you don't trust me on that, just go back to my previous videos on the day I brought these back home and how I mentioned, oh, I think they're sulfated, because they weren't really holding a charge. And I think that is part of the issue with them. I think they were sulfated off the shelf. But anyway, they're not really holding up well. These were the replacement batteries for the two that were absolutely defective and had dead shorts inside. So they're not holding up very well at all. And I think they need to be desulfated. So I am running my Harbor Freight generator with the battery charger every time I use my laptop or use any power in a tiny house now. So I am essentially running on generator power right now, completely, until I get my forklift batteries and get them installed properly on the tiny house. So these are temporary for now, and then they'll go into the RV, and hopefully what I'm going to do is desulfate all of these and put them into service in the RV. And the RV will be an electronic workshop. So that's hopefully, anyway. I do have high hopes for these, and if the Bedini doesn't do its job, it is a small Bedini motor. It's very small, very low capacity, and if it doesn't do its job, I will eventually get a desulfator, because I do believe there's hope for these the four older ones. I haven't given up hope. So anyway, I hope that explains and clears things up better, because there's a lot of comments about, and I think a lot of confusion about the battery banks and the fusing.